Aria, it's Ellen. Let's take a look at this first set of essays that you have submitted as part of your essay correction set. Okay, the first one is about employees and whether they should change jobs or not. Don't forget, please, to include the task that you're doing as well as the task one. It's really important for me to refer to them. So please keep that in mind for following questions. All right, let's see what you wrote. Many are of the opinion that employees must avoid altering their positions throughout their lives, while the counter opinion is that they need to move to other positions or careers at least once in their lives. Personally, I take the latter viewpoint as I believe it is the correct path. In fact, I would argue that a breadth of knowledge in various fields is necessary for any individual to succeed in today's complex working environment. Lovely. I really like this. Don't forget, there's an A here, so just be careful with that. But other than that, I think it's a lovely first paragraph. One thing that maybe I would change is this repeat here throughout their lives and then once in their lives. So you could change that. You could say, for example, and I didn't like the word altering here. I thought that we don't really say alter your position when we're talking about a job. So you could have said, many are of the opinion that employees must change. Yeah, you can use change. It's not a crime. Must change their positions throughout their career. That would have been perfect. This way, yeah, okay, you're using career here, but you're not using that same expression. All right. Okay, let's move on. To begin with, considering one has been forced or has been encouraged to pursue a certain field since the person was studying at high school, all studies has been in this particular field, and this individual has entered the workforce, assumed a position, has been assigned with a task. On regular everyday tasks, the performance is great and efficient, but once a unique challenge arises, which requires a multiple skills and perspectives, this employee will lag behind colleagues who have experience in at least a few other areas. Wow, that was one sentence, Aria. So look at this. This was all one sentence. So as you can see, it's really, really, really just way too long. Typically, I tell students that when you see the sentence going into that third line, that's your sign that you have to stop it somewhere, okay? So you should break it up into smaller pieces for short 100%. This is a paragraph with two sentences, and it doesn't work because grammatically it has mistakes, and it's really unclear. It's hard to know what you're trying to say. So let's look at this, see how we can break it down a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, this is gonna be tricky. I don't know if I can necessarily break it down, but I'll do my best, okay? So to begin with, if we consider that one has been forced or encouraged to pursue a certain field since high school, all studies have been in this particular field, and this individual subsequently entered the workforce and assumed a position. Full stop. Let's see. What are you trying to say here? You're trying to say when a unique challenge arises, which requires multiple skills. Okay. Why don't we start there? While the employee may have wonderful and or great and efficient performance, once a unique challenge arises, this employee may lack compared to colleagues who have experienced at least a few other areas. Okay, now here, I want you to tell me why, okay? Or just link it better. This is because those people have seen how to evaluate the situation by approaching it through alternative methods. Something like this. Aria, do you understand what I want you to do here? So, you need to link these ideas better, and you need to really break this down. You need to I want you to think of your paragraph as a chain, and each sentence, each idea is a link in that chain. So it has to flow. One idea goes to the next idea and goes to the next idea. So to put it another way, A has to link to B and B has to link to C. You can't skip anything, and it has to be clear. The relationship between all of these ideas has to be clear. Okay? All right. So, let's see. To better understand the distinction between an employee who has specialized, not E, in a single field and a counterpart who has taken on a number of unrelated positions, one can think of a CEO, get rid of the apostrophe S, of a multinational company, which, as studies show, you don't need a semicolon here, the vast majority of them have interdisciplinary education with majors and minors in engineering, careful with your spelling, on one hand, and management or finance on the other hand, thus the success. Okay, Aria, this is not a full paragraph. It's like a fragment of a paragraph. It's part of a paragraph, but it's not an entire paragraph. Take a look again at your sentences. You'll see this is just one sentence. You cannot have paragraphs with just one sentence. Okay. So what I really want you to work on is your paragraphing. What do we need in a paragraph? We need a topic sentence where it very clearly introduces what the main idea of the paragraph is. And then you have a main idea which basically goes into your topic sentence, goes into what the central idea is. And then you have support explaining your main ideas, either with examples or explanations or some sort of an illustration, something that goes into some detail. So I'm having a little problem with the way you're constructing your paragraphs. Okay, this is not paragraphing, and this is not organizing your ideas that is going to get you a high score in coherence and cohesion. Okay, so now let's take a look at your conclusion. To conclude, based on the aforementioned, careful with your spelling, please. Fact, I personally, careful, believe that concentrating on a single field or position throughout one's working life will not lead to great results. Full stop. However, if one is aiming for merely a stable career without outstanding rewards, he or she may take this path. In contrast, if one is aiming for considerable success in a rewarding leadership position, careful with your spelling, please. Seeking a new career, no comma, will lead to better results. Now, here I really feel that you have gotten into some details that really didn't belong in your conclusion. All right, because you didn't really go into any of this in your body paragraphs. I mean, some of this stuff about like, oh, if you just want a stable career without outstanding rewards, you never covered that in your body paragraphs. So all of a sudden you're introducing it here in your conclusion, and this is not where we introduce new ideas. You only want to introduce new ideas in the body paragraphs, and that's it. Okay? So for me, this essay needs a lot of reworking. It needs a lot of reorganizing. I want to see your body paragraphs more similar in size. Okay, so you had this one, which was like 7 lines long. Well, all right, that's not that bad. It just felt really, really short. Okay. And another way you know it's really short is that it's the same length as your introduction. So your introduction was about 5 lines long, your conclusion the same, and your body paragraph was the same length. So that's a clue for you that you should definitely include more information in your body paragraph, okay? So a lot to talk about here. Spelling, I want you to be really careful. It's going to lower your lexical resource score, okay? So please be careful with some of your spelling. Let's take a look here. Again, I'm going to ask you to include the image of the graph This is a bar chart. I know it. Okay. The given graph illustrates how many birds lost their lives as a result of the global bird flu each year in the years of 1990 to 2000. According to World Health Organization, which has studied global bird flu casualties. You don't need a semicolon here. Clearly, the number of casualties has been on the rise. Now, you don't need this tense has been because it's all in the past. So it was on the rise. When you say it has been, it implies that there's some sort of connection to the present or that we don't know when this occurred. That's not the case here. It's very clearly from 1990 to 2000. And so this tense here is incorrect. It should be according to World Health Organization, which studied I can't talk today, which studied global bird flu casualties. Clearly, the number of casualties was on the rise throughout the period. That would have been better, more specific. Okay, so it can be seen from the graph that between 1990 and 1996, casualties rose gradually or gradually increased without this has before reaching a plateau in 1997, which lasted for 4 consecutive spelling years until the end of year 2000. In 1990-1991, just above 120,000 birds perished. In 1992, this rate rose to about 135,000, and this trend continued up until the end of 1993. In the years 94 to 97, a gradual but considerable climb. A gradual but considerable rise was witnessed before reaching a peak of around 175,000. 1997, casualties stabilized and remained not tightly, relatively unchanged for the next 4 consecutive years. Careful with your spelling. So for the most part, you used a lot of this nice kind of appropriate task 1 vocabulary, gradual increase, reach a plateau. Let's see, reach a peak, stabilize. So a lot of that was good, but it wasn't consistent. Okay. So this considerable climb was wrong. Tightly unchained was wrong. And your spelling really needs a lot of work. So take a look. Look at this. This is not continued. This is not casualties. Consecutive is consistently spelled wrong. So I need you to absolutely work on these things. And I know that I mentioned spelling was a problem in your task 2 as well. So be careful with that because those will lower your lexical resource score. So this was okay. You didn't really do a lot with it. Admittedly, there's not a lot to do with this particular task 1. But I'm curious to see more work, more task 1s from you. So I'll be looking forward to it. Okay. So go ahead and take these, make any changes that were suggested, and let's see another set from you. Okay. Good luck.